r/NoSleep. Posted by you/Hellofellorediters. I work in a hospital. My job has some strange rules. When I say I work in a hospital, you may assume I'm a surgeon or a family medicine doctor. I'm an ER doctor. I spent 10 years in medical school training, however when it came time to become an ER doc, I backed out. The fear of having someone's life in my hands for real made me nervous, and I left the hospital where I trained for 7 years. From there I traveled a lot, trying to enjoy life with the little savings I had. I was trying to forget about my crippling debt from my failed career, however it soon caught up with me. I was forced back into the business. I applied for every high-paying hospital in the area, yet every application was a dead end. I was trapped and forced to apply to an old rundown hospital. To my surprise I was hired. Was that all? I was an old rundown doctor? I started work almost immediately and I was greeted by the chief of the hospital. He seemed rushed and a bit on edge. He handed me some clearly used scrubs and a sheet of paper. I changed into them quickly and discarded the sheet of paper into my pocket, before starting my first shift at 9. It was quiet in the ER, although it's a written rule never to say the Q word. I wished someone would come, yet no one did. In pure boredom I opened the note to find a list of rules. I'm not a kid, I thought, yet I thought I'd read the rules anyway. 1. During your first hour, no patients will come in. If any do, you must treat their head wound. No matter what their injured are, or if they have no injuries, act as if they're a head wound on their forehead and treat it normally. That was weird, and reading this you may question why I didn't nope out of there sooner, yet this didn't freak me out enough to abandon my only job. 2. During your second hour, there will be a swarm of patients, treat them in this order. 1. Glasses. 2. Blue eyes. 3. Red hair. 4. Brown eyes. 5. Black hair with red highlights. 6. Blonde hair. 7. Green eyes. 8. Brown hair. As a brunette myself I felt a bit offended, but nonetheless I continued reading. 3. If you need to call for a consult, remember, neurosurgery 2 rings, phycology 3 rings, orthopedics 12 rings, cardio 5 rings, general surgery 19 rings. If they do any less rings or any more, hang up immediately and try again. If you need any other department, ask a nurse. I was about to read the fourth and final rule when the influx of patients came in. Of course you may be wondering why I didn't book it out of there fast enough, but I was hundreds of thousands of pounds in debt and this job paid enough for me to survive. I took the rules with me and looked for someone with glasses. That's when it hit me. When it said someone with glasses, it meant only glasses, no hair, no eyes, nothing. I was taken aback and my breathing became sporadically. I was stuck in an enclosed space with some demons. I wanted to run, to get out of there faster than Olympic runners, but I couldn't. My feet were stuck in place and I watched as the patients waiting to be helped grew larger. I gulped. Get through this one shift and then you can laugh about it later, I thought. I held my breath as I approached them closer and closer. How can I help you? I said to a lady with glasses. My stomach hurts. She responded and I'm surprised she understood my shaky voice. I guided her to an ER room and asked for a history. I did an ultrasound and found out she was pregnant. She had been having Braxton Hicks contractions and I called a nurse to send her to gynecology. I was relieved I don't have to phone anyone. There were 5 more patients in the ER. I glanced around quickly and saw no one else had glasses. I looked at the list again. 8 blue eyes, I muttered under my breath. 2 patients had blue eyes, and I helped the more urgent one first. It was a woman in her mid-30s, she'd broken her arm after falling down the stairs. I gave her some pain medication and a quick x-ray to confirm it was broken. I cursed under my breath knowing I'd have to call orthopedics. 12 rings, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hi, it's orthopedics, a woman said. I hung up immediately, scared out of my mind. I tried again. This time they picked up at 12 rings. I called for a consult and got back to my other patient. It was a man in his 20s, he had been feeling sick and had some abdominal pain. After questioning him and running some tests, I diagnosed him with appendicitis. I had to call again. 19 rings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ect. I tried 5 times with no avail, but fortunately on the 6th time they answered on the 19th ring. I called for a consult and got back to my next 3 patients. I looked around and no one had red hair or brown eyes. I almost thought no one had black hair with red highlights, until I saw a girl maybe 15 to 18 in the furthest corner of the waiting room waiting. She was obviously tipsy, and I had to interrogate her thoroughly to find out what was wrong. She hadn't had anything wrong with Get, she'd been a bit confused and was looking for her friends who had ditched her. We called her a taxi and sent her on her way. There was a girl with blonde hair and another with green eyes. I swiftly treated them both. The problems were minor and it was almost lunchtime when I was done. As I began to pick up the list to read the fourth rule, a nurse came and offered me a sandwich. I was starving and devoured it in a couple seconds. I was so content with my food and picked up the list of rules. 4. Do not accept food from any nurses. They will take it as you're accepting their offer and will only accept your soul in return. Make sure you follow these rules. If you break any, then contact me at redacted. Shoot. 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 I was piecing myself over this. It was insanely bad luck to break the only rule I hadn't read yet. By now I could tell the nurses were sensing what was going on, and I had to get out of there. I had to leave, just to get out of here, then I could revisit this whole ordeal. I bolted out of the room so fast, I don't think anyone noticed. I seemed to run to the bathroom, and it took me a few minutes to find it as I hadn't been in the building before. Once in, I locked the door and looked at the sheet of paper again. I was never good in crisis situations. I mean, being late to work or being in debt was nothing compared to what I'd seen today. I would have thought the whole thing was some sick joke if I hadn't seen those unearthly beings today I had to treat, and they weren't even the ones I was afraid of. Shoot, 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 I cursed again. I didn't have my phone, I'd have to face them again. I couldn't. I started mumbling nonsense under my breath. I was freaking out. This couldn't be happening. This SHD only happens to people in movies. I started hyperventilating again as I found courage from God knows where and I left the bathroom. In my mind I was going to play it cool and chill, but I found myself running. I passed the nurses and other hospital staff and got to my locker. I flung it open so fast the door banged loudly against the other lockers. I rummaged through my stuff and practically threw everything that wasn't my phone. I felt like a Fortnite-addicted kid when I finally found my phone and grasped onto it like the Holy Grail. I bolted back to the bathroom and slammed the door shut faster than I could think. I groped around my phone screen and began to call the number. Ring 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 ring. Call unavailable. No, I screaming. I called again, the adrenaline coursing through my veins. Same text. Again and again. I panicked and that's how I got here. Please help me, they're coming, please help me.